it's 5 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started with our council meeting. This is our regular council meeting for the second Monday in August. So we're going to go ahead and get started. There is a quorum present, so we're be able to take care of all the city's business. And if you would please stand for invocation and pledge allegiance.
Heavenly Father, again, we thank you for today, for a beautiful day we have today. We thank you for that. Lord, we take care of the city's business. Help us to have the wisdom we need to do the right thing for our citizens. That should be each and every one of our employees, Lord, as they take care of their businesses. I do want to pray for the ones, of course, the policemen, Lord, as they're running around on the streets and making the city safe. Just be with them in a special way. And all of our volunteer firefighters, we thank you so much for them. I want to ask you to be as Marita and Gail that are not able to attend tonight. That's my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to these Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. How many people actually know what the flag is? It's okay if you didn't know it. All right, we're going to move on into our consent agenda. Discussion of possible action on approval of the minutes of the July the 8th, 2025 public workshop, the July 14th, 2025 council meeting, and the August 4th, 2025 public workshop.
Mayor, I make a motion that we accept the minutes for the July 2025 public workshop, the July 14th, 2025 council meeting, and the August 4th, 2025 public workshop as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second? Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Time now for a public. I'm putting these glasses on first.
Please.
Public comments. At this time, comments will be taken from the audience on any subject matter, whether or not that item is on the agenda. All comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes for each speaker. If more than one person wishes to address the same subject, a spokesperson must be selected who will be recognized to represent the group. Your comments are appreciated. The Texas Open Meetings Act does not allow the council to discuss items not listed on the agenda. However, if possible, your questions may be answered with a statement of policy, statement of fact, or it may be placed on a future agenda for attention by council. You also may be directed to the appropriate department head to address your questions or problems. Is there anybody that would like to address the council at this time? All right, we're going to move on. Move on to reports and comments. City staff.
Mayor, for the construction projects in the city, the wastewater treatment plant is still on schedule. They're wrapping up everything with the buildings on the outside. It's looking really good. The installation of the fire hydrants throughout the city. Tomex is, for the most part, I think they're finished. They just have some punch list items to cover. Building official issued 31 permits. 2 were new residential, 33 were completed. Sanitation took 34 loads of green waste and 1 load of CBD to the landfill. Animal control received 69 calls, 21 intakes, 9 claims, 6 adopted with none rescued, and filed 4 court filings. Street department continued patching streets and driveways and cleaning of ditches and culverts. Parks, mowing, and that's it, mowing. The shop, 30 for 30s, everything was normal. That's pretty much it.
For the police department, we've had 373 traffic contacts, 6 crashes, 9 arrests this month, 31 offense reports, 465 calls for service, 11,000 miles driven. Code enforcement had 68 violations investigated, with 13 of those being found.
Thank you. Rich, you have anything?
Fire department? For the month of July, we responded to 2 building fires, 1 outside trash fire, 4 medical assist, and, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 3 with different injuries, 1 with none. 1 gas leak, 1 chemical spill, for a gas line. 3 power lines down, was canceled and route 1 time. We had, 1, 2, 3 fire alarms for a total of 20, and we, provided mutual aid 3 times for the month.
Thank you. Any questions about any of the reports?
I have a couple of questions. I'll start with the fire department. For the fire alarms, were those for the high school again, or were those different?
Well, we had one of the bus, well, I know the one bus was this week. It was a fire, no, one was residential, and another one was, none of business.
I just wanna make sure we weren't having that.
No, it wasn't like it usually is.
Okay.
It kind of spurts.
For some reason, that gets worse in the summer.
Humidity,
I know, you
They
think,
turn the air off.
maybe, yeah, I just wanna make sure that we weren't having that issue.
the air, the humidity in the air, in the room and stuff, it sets the detectors off, dust and whatever.
Okay. And then, on animal control, and Debbie may need to answer this unless John can, but the 69 calls, it was 14 last month. What do you think that was?
Without
That's huge.
going into, that's on the lower end of average, 69.
Okay.
I mean, we average around 75, 80 calls per month. Last month, he did not record, he was out for a couple of weeks with a heart attack.
Okay, all right. You got it.
Well,
All right, thank you. That's all I have.
All right. Anyone else?
Are there that many dogs loose?
Probably worse than that, that's just what we're.
That's just your.
That's just so wild. Right.
If there's nothing else, we're gonna go ahead and, move on. Regular session. Discussion and possible action on a request from Marty Thompson for a variance to ordinance number 355E to allow her to have chickens at her residence.
I move that we deny the request from Marty Thompson for a variance to ordinance number 355E to allow her to have chickens at her residence.
We have a motion. We have a second. We have a motion and no second. Now we're back.
I'd like to make a motion that we approve her request for a variance to ordinance number 355E to allow her to have chickens at her residence.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to allow Marty Thompson to, allow the variance to the ordinance number 355E, allow her to have chickens at her residence. All right, now it's time for discussion.
Yep, I made it. And I did that because, Ms. Thompson, made several of her neighbors wrote letters, and she did a really good job of having several, on the second page, several neighbors, on her street, and, the next street over had signs stating that they had no issues, with her having chickens at her residence, including her next door neighbors. She has no neighbors behind her. So if she might have any comments that she'd like to make regarding that or an explanation to that, and then I know she submitted a map and some drawings as well.
Marty,
Can you go to the,
please.
Okay, Marty Thompson, I've lived in West Orange for like 3 years. We actually bought our house here a year ago because I saw that we could have chickens. I didn't realize there was a limit on acres. I've had chickens, since I was about 13, on and off over the years, and I had a small farm where I used to live in out of state, and, I really enjoy taking care of animals, and I don't plan to have any other animals. I have a dog and a cat. we bought a house here because you told me to have chickens. And, I love them, they're my baby. My dog loves them, she's a German Shepherd, and when they were little, we kept them in a brooder, and she would look over, like she'd count them, and she'd run a perimeter of the yard, and she'd go backwards the other way, and she'd look at them, and then she'd lay down by them. But, I don't think you have any questions for me? I don't think what else to say, I really am.
Have you had any complaints about the chickens?
Not that I'm aware of. What started all this was, one of my neighbors, I guess you can call them, that was on Alamo, their dog got loose and got into my yard and killed one of my chickens. So I called the police to report it, and I'm suspecting that he's the one who reported that I had chickens on that. We're gonna put a fence up and put the chickens in there, but right now, there's not many homeless in West Orange, but I walk my dog every morning, and I see people sleeping in the playground. So that's the only report I've had that I know of.
Marty, you have any roosters?
I have one rooster, but my neighbors like him too.
Well, I'm not opposed to chickens. We had chickens when I grew up down on Delano Street. But we've had other people come in, ask for variance because the ordinance states that you have to have 1 acre of land, and you're at 1/4 of an acre, which is 25% of the required, lot size. And we've had to turn other people down because of their lot size. And, we have done 1 variance, to allow chickens, and they have 6/10 of an acre, which I was against that too, because at that time I said, if we're going to allow this, let's rewrite the ordinance and make it better for everybody to be able to get chickens. And, of course, that didn't fly, but because the ordinance states 1 acre, and you only have 1/4 of that,
Right.
I can't, in good conscience, being, as a city council member, to vote for that, despite all the hard work that you put into it. Because we've had to tell other people, no, you can't have a variance. It wouldn't be fair to them if they come back.
Right, no, I understand that, I also know that there are, I don't wanna put a number on it, because I haven't gone around counting, but there are more than a dozen, 2 dozen, 3 dozen people, homes in West Orange that have chickens. I know there's a house that has goats, I know that there's lots of other animals on less acres than what's required. So it's, if you're gonna say I can't have them, then nobody should have them.
I think in consideration too, that she lives on the end of the cul-de-sac and her property,
Right against the railroad track.
against the railroad, easement, so there is no neighbors back there. There's actually no neighbor directly to the south of you.
Right.
It's an empty lot. It's owned by someone, but I mean, there's no structure in the way that the lots are designed, or maybe somebody put a garage or something there at some point, but no actual habitation. So in consideration of the fact that all of your neighbors that directly touch your property and several
That go
back
out from
away from it, including those on Alamo,
Yeah.
have all stated, have either signed and or written, letters that they have no problem with it. I don't have an issue with that.
Is your coop located on one side of the yard? I mean,
It's in my,
all the way from your neighbor as it can be?
it is currently, we're actually, when we originally got the chickens, my husband, he actually was the one who told me to go get them. He called me up and said, did you get your chickens? I said, no. He said, well, go, they got them. So I went and got them. Initially, before I realized that there was a minimum acreage to it, they were just in my backyard. Then when the husky came over the fence, I put the run together and I attached the running to each other so they would have protected space. Then after I talked to the, animal control gentleman. We found someone to take our chickens, and then I called him, and asked him if there was anything I could do to keep them, and he suggested that I speak with all of you. So then my husband and I started looking at other structures, and we actually plan to put them, we have about 15 feet beyond our back fence before the easement for the railroad tracks. We have like a third yard, and that's actually where we're going to put them if I'm allowed to keep them. So it gives,
You put them outside your fence towards the railroad track?
we're gonna put another fence, because that's still our land.
Oh, really?
It's still our property, but there's never been a fence there. And, we're gonna put a fence up and put the chickens in there. But right now, there's not many homeless in West Orange, but I walk my dog every morning, and I've seen people sleeping in the playground. So I'm hesitant to put my chickens outside the fence in case somebody decides that, they make a tasty treat. So, if allowed to keep my chickens, we're gonna put up a fence on that, my way backyard is what I call it, and, put the chickens back there.
So how deep is your backyard if you extend the fence out?
Oh, I did not measure my backyard. I know. It's on the last page.
In the back of the very last page. I don't know.
From the road to the back of my property on one side, it says 95.36 feet, and the other side says 94.7 feet, but I don't know the deepest measurement. I haven't measured, I never got to measure that.
And Marty, when did you start raising chickens?
My mother got,
Here.
like February is when I got them.
Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay, no, I've had chickens, my mother got them when I was in ninth grade, and I had them all through high school, chickens, ducks, and geese. And then I got chickens, I lived in, after high school, in my late 20s, early 30s, I had chickens again. And then I got chickens again, in 2013, and I had them until 2020. That was all in New York State where I'm from.
So looking at where your coop is now, it's next to lot 8?
Yeah,
You're on lot 9?
yes, sir. And lot 8 is her home. And
And lot 10 is vacant?
no, they actually wrote a letter also, but it's a rental, but they did write a note, they like my chickens too.
Also,
It's behind, like, this piece,
oh, here's lot 5 and 6.
yeah, that's on Alamo.
Okay.
I measured from where the coop is, the run is gonna be, all the way to her house, and it was like 48 feet. Between her back stoop and her back patio and where the run will be.
So all of your neighbors
And she signed her,
get the letters.
yeah, sure, so the lady that lives at lot 6, she signed the petition, the lady, Jane, her name at lot 5, she signed and wrote a note also.
Lot 6 is the empty lot, and then it goes with the house.
Okay, I didn't realize that, I thought that was all one property.
Also, last Tuesday morning, I'm the alternate municipal court judge. We had a man come in that received a citation for having chickens, and instead of citing it, he just went ahead and got rid of all the chickens.
I believe in I have the right to have my voice heard.
Yeah, you do. But speaking of what Jay's saying, we try to enforce our ordinances. And the downside of this is we say, okay, Martin, you can have, all the chickens you want.
Well, I'm not gonna go first.
The downside is that we'll have someone have chickens and not take care of their coop in
Well, see,
small, in quarter, acre
I
lots.
think that should be a huge factor, that they have, I don't think anybody should have pets or children if they're not really gonna need to take care of them.
Yes, they all do.
And,
There are a lot of
there's
people.
somebody who's not feeding their animals or their chickens or cleaning up after them and making sure that they have because they can get dirty with animals, any animals, they can get dirty if you don't maintain them in their area and where they live and breathe and shed feathers and hair, fur. You gotta, I think that should be a huge consideration, is that they're willing to actually maintain, take care
One
of them.
variance we've allowed, Mr. Odom mentioned was, there's no houses around it. It's in a location that they don't have any houses next door to them or within maybe 300 feet of it. So that was the reason we allowed that variance, then, just so everybody will know. We're not just sticking on this model. We're trying to do our business the best that we can and be as fair to everybody as we can without absolutely ignoring the ordinances that we have.
At my very first city council meeting, I was the bad guy that voted against going against the ordinance. And I said at that time, we need to maybe rewrite this ordinance. And maybe that's something that can be looked at. I would be in favor of that, but like I say, the ordinance says 1 acre, and it's a quarter of an acre. You're looking at 25% of what, and none of us was on the council when that ordinance was written, and why it was written like that, I don't have any idea. None of us did, because we weren't on the council. But I think it's something that could be visited, looked at. You got this much acreage or this much size lot, 2 chickens, 5 chickens. For me, I'm sorry, it's the ordinance, and we gotta maintain the ordinance. We just can't.
No, I understand what you're saying.
Every time somebody does.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but, if I had known about the acreage part of it, I just knew we could have chickens. We probably wouldn't have gotten chickens at all. I'm not out there to break laws and push boundaries and just run amok. Unless it's Halloween, we all run amok. But, my husband spent a lot of money, and I care about this. I don't know, silly, but. And that's just chicken. So I didn't wanna give them up without paying my card.
Marty, I'm in favor of giving you a variance. Because you've had those things for several months, and if that dumb dog would have jumped over the fence,
Nobody would have.
killed one of them. Because none of the neighbors have complained at all
No.
about it.
Did your neighbor that had the dog that jumped over the fence?
Oh, he got fined because his dog jumped over my fence again, and, they had like 8 feet of chain on the dog, and it got wrapped around the anchor wires that hold the telephone poles up.
Did it hang?
No, it didn't kill him, but a police officer did have to come and take the dog and took it to the pound, or the, what do you call it here?
Right.
Yeah,
Animal shelter.
animal shelter. And
Today's
I know he told me that the owners did come and get the dog, and they had to pay a fine and do all the neutering and everything. They had the dog. It's a very sweet dog. It's a small husky. It's small. It's not fed right. It's not cared for. It's one of those people that don't care about their animals very much. But the dog, there's been pictures on the West Orange Chat Facebook page. It's been seen down at the Dollar General, walking around in the store. It's it's been seen all over the place, they just don't take care of the dog. Again, I walk my dog almost every morning, except when there's some thunderstorm, so she didn't walk today. But we haven't seen, I don't know what they did with the dog, I haven't seen the dog since she was in my yard the last time. But before it was in my yard the last 2 times, it was at my house a couple of times. It just stayed out front, somehow figured out how to get, it lives on Alamo, so it just went through other people's yards, so it's on mine, I guess, I don't know. But if I hadn't called the police and reported it, this wouldn't have happened.
But you would have still been in violation.
I realize that now. At the time, I didn't realize, like I said, I didn't realize there was a acreage limitation.
Well, hopefully we'll take care of the, issues of other people that have chickens in West Market as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of people.
Any other discussion?
Is there anyone else who would like to say anything?
Sir, I live next door to a property that's over an acre, and the chickens have caused way more havoc. I actually know where this lady lives, so I do agree with, I understand both sides of this, but the acreage thing that Jay Odom has mentioned definitely needs to be revisited, because, as people may know, there's a gentleman that had the chickens next door to me on Crockett Street. He was actually out of state whenever his times were babies. So, for a person to take care of their animals as such versus, just having an acreage amount is kind of, it's a case by case basis, not an acreage thing, I would say. And I truly agree, 0.25 acres, 2 chickens, 0.5 acre, there needs to be revisiting of the ordinance, obviously.
Looks like that's not good, I've never had that one.
She's got half acre.
Just come see us down, shoot you money around that.
Just a personal outside, I understand the ordinance, I do agree with it, and I don't want chickens in my house, but just because you got an acre doesn't make it right or wrong.
May I ask your name, sir?
Tommy Lewis.
Tommy
Lewis.
Okay, thanks, Tommy.
Everybody thinks of it, you ball for it, I can't have chickens, kids love chickens.
How many chickens do you have on it?
I had 7 hens, and I ended up with 3 roosters. 2 of them are little tiny frizzles, and I'm not planning to keep them because they can't even. They're just ornamental. I don't know if I'm keeping them or not. It depends if I'm keeping any of them, but they're ornamental. They barely make any noise.
I think the animals, like my grandkids will live there, shoot all the time. And that's some of their things they great. And I look forward to it. Won't be the problem. I usually don't say anything because I'm a wife. But I have to say environmentally, we have to realize the impact of if everyone that has 1/4 of an acre has 10 chickens, that poo, and I'm sorry, even if it's cleaned up regularly, gets into our water supply, and it does affect the environment. We can't let just everyone that has this much land have chickens. It's just not a healthy environment for us. And I'm sorry because I know I get very attached to any animal and it would kill me. But I understand the other side of it too. And I think that if we rewrite the ordinance to limit, I wouldn't have a problem if you had 2 baby chickens or 2 chickens running around in a 1/4 of an acre. But I do have a problem if you have 20 chickens or 15 chickens running around in that small area. It's just not environmentally healthy for any of us. Okay? And I just have one opinion and it's mine and I just had to say it. Hell,
we're glad you're here to be able to watch.
Amen.
And you will, you as well, Mr. Lewis. And you, I'm sorry, I don't know your name, yes.
Lady,
Yes.
I'm with that man.
So thank you for your comments as well.
Well, there's like, they let dogs run around Main Street up in your house. And they drink out the bugs out of your house, but you have animals there, like that dog, that dog has kids run around. They're lazy and nasty, and use the back in your yard and stuff, I got kids running around. Chickens are locked up, dogs ain't.
We tried to control,
These dogs, these chickens are locked up.
manage that as well, but it's not a dog or a chicken problem, it's a people problem. People don't take care of their animals.
Well, the dogs were disability.
Dogs not worse than chicken, dogs.
That's right, that's why I got out, because the child was wrong with the dog and the disability child. And he had to let it out on accident, and he can't chase it. So everybody around here goes and chases that dog from that child, because he can't get in the wheelchair. That's why the dog kept getting out. And everybody chases it down.
All right, is there, any other comments? I'm gonna call for a vote then. We have the motion to allow Ms. Thompson to have chickens in her yard, a variance for the ordinance. And, I'm gonna call for a vote, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion dies for lack of a four-way.
Come back in a month, come back to the next meeting.
okay.
We may do something with our ordinance. I wanna ask Mr. Odom to look at that, if he would. And, see if he can come up
If
with.
he needs,
something that will
any information I can
be
provide.
a little more lenient towards what we have.
Right.
Okay? So we're gonna move on to, we had a vote that's split. Did I handle that all right?
Perfect.
Yes.
All right, so, we're gonna move on to our next item, number 2, discussion of possible action on a previously tabled request submitted by Mr. Ranjit Pillai to replat property located at 900 Newton Street to allow for future commercial development. Is Mr. Pillai here? Is anybody here to represent Mr. Pillai? Moving on. Item number 3. Discussion of possible action on a resolution to nominate individuals to be placed on the ballot for the Orange County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
I'll make the motion that we, sign a resolution to nominate individuals to be placed on the ballot for the Orange County Appraisal District Board of Directors.
I'll second that.
Karen Fisher and Philip Welch are the two that are,
Getting off, right?
well, it says the current board members up for re-election or replacement are Karen Fisher and Philip Welch. I'm assuming that means that they're both wanting to be, re-elected to that position. I think in the past what we've done is we split, if nobody has any reasons to vote, all votes for Karen Fisher, all votes for Philip Welch, and we split those votes in the past.
Have for Karen Fisher.
14 and 14.
Yeah, I guess it's just nomination.
Nomination.
Just a nomination, yeah. Nomination, okay.
The vote's usually in December, I think.
All right, so do I have a motion to,
I must make a motion.
you made the motion to, nominate Karen Fisher and
Philip Welch.
Philip Welch, okay. And you seconded that, I did. All right, so, we have a motion and a second, is there any more discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carried. Item number 4, discussion and possible action on allowing the Works Director to vacate the alleyway adjacent to lot 123 and E 21.4 east of, all right, so there's, we've got, some land that somebody wants to, have alleyways removed from it, and the alleyways, have, the water district has some main lines that run through those alleyways. Is the whole gist of the request, they're wanting to be able to plot it out and divide it up the way they want to without having alleyways in it. That's the property that is down Western Avenue on the north side, in between where the, car wash thing is and outside it, that lot that's next to it, if anybody's
Mark,
fixing that in the right.
Mark's property,
Yeah.
just Mark's property? Okay.
I move that we do not allow the Public Works Director to vacate the alleyways adjacent to these lots and blocks as stated in the, agenda.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second? We don't have a second? I'll second. Move it on, we'll have any discussion.
You can move on without us. Okay, never mind.
Yep. So there's a main water and sewer line that run through that property.
Yeah, so this was placed on the agenda, at a previous meeting, and we knew that there was a sewer line that ran east-west through the property. There's also a water main, an 8-inch water main that comes directly from the tower that runs north-south. And should we vacate these alleyways, the water district wouldn't have any control over what goes over those lines. And it could be detrimental to the system.
Somebody built
I understand it, yeah.
a road or a house
Yes.
or something like that. Gotcha. Okay.
And it was the recommendation from the water district that we don't allow that, and it's my recommendation as well.
Do we have any more discussion?
That's what
All right, no more discussion, we'll call for vote, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries.
I didn't quite understand. Thanks.
All right, discussion of possible action on authorizing the Public Works Director to request bids for CDBG-DR number 24-067-0153-E233, providing for the reconstruction of Dayton Street.
I move that we authorize the Public Works Director to request bids for providing the reconstruction of Dayton Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second, is there any discussion?
I have a question.
All right.
If this winds up and we do this, is it any city people gonna follow these to make sure everything is being done correctly?
Well, so I typically follow the construction progress, daily visits. But we also have an engineering firm, Lead Engineering, that provides a project manager that is with them during construction.
Okay, good deal.
I will note that if, the way that we're structuring this, if we have enough funds after the project is let, we have an alternate 1 and an alternate 2 for the reconstruction of, Bradford and another alternate for the reconstruction of, Crabtree. So it'll be actually 3 streets that are going out for bid, with the main one being Dayton from Western all the way to 50-foot south of the railroad crossing on South Street.
And what materials are they gonna use for that?
We're going back with exactly what's there because of the grant, the structure of the grant. It has to go back with the same material.
Just
So
like
they come
normal.
concrete.
Yeah, okay. Just wanna make sure they put shell and oil or. Yeah.
All right, is there any other discussion? I'll call for vote, all in favor say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Discussion, item number 6, discussion of possible action on repealing ordinance number 355E and replacing it with ordinance number 355S we're making a minor change to that ordinance. John, would you like to explain?
Yes, sir.
What this is?
So the current ordinance requires that an adopter of an animal have the dog or cat vaccinated, spayed or neutered within 10 days of adoption. The next agenda item, we're gonna discuss, a program that we've got that may not fall within those 10 days. It may be 14 days, it may be 21 days. So to stay in, compliance with an ordinance, we really need to look at removing that restriction of 10 days. Okay.
Well, I move that we, repeal ordinance number 355-E and replacing it with ordinance number 355-F regarding animal control in the city.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number 7, discussion and possible action on amending the pricing schedule for the adoption of animals from the animal shelter to provide for spaying and neutering of animals.
I'll make a motion that we amend the pricing schedule for the adoption of animals from the animal shelter to provide for spaying and neutering of animals.
Second.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Did you mention how much the adoption rate is gonna be and why it's gonna be $100?
Yeah, so P7 in the packet, the adoption fee will go to $100. It's currently at $50, and that will cover the cost of vaccinations, all of the shots required by law, plus microchipping. And so the customer will pay us, and we in turn will pay for that service when it's rendered to the Humane Society.
So what if someone who adopts the animal wishes to use their own veterinarian? It's not allowed.
We wouldn't participate in that program. This is special pricing through the Humane Society of Southeast.
We'll give it a break by going through us.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
A little twist to that, what if the animal's already been spayed or neutered? You wouldn't have that cost, it still will be $100.
Well, they could still get microchipped.
Microchipping and all the vaccinated, all the shots and everything else.
Oh, I know.
Is that comparable to what other, jurisdictions are charging, or is this kind of a pilot program?
Well, with the,
I don't wanna cut off our noses by our face and
I wish that I would have brought the numbers to you of how many adoptions we've done since I've been here. That number is extremely low. And the participation of, so right now we charge $50, and that's refundable when they bring proof that the dog has been vaccinated, animal has been vaccinated, neutered. So it's a pilot program with all the other municipalities. They're offering it to everyone. So if you go outside that to a private vet, it's $160 on average.
Can I make a comment on that? Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry, Mayor, I just wanted you to know.
Yes, ma'am.
When we offer something like that, with that big of a discount, it looks better to a potential adopter, because in order to go to a vet and have the pet spayed or neutered, starts at like $160 and goes up. Plus, when you go to the vet to do that, they require that you have the shot. That adds to the cost. So if we participate with the Humane Society, and you're paying $100 for all of that, plus the microchip, it's really ideal for the people who want a dog, because they know they can save close to $300 or more. So I'm in favor of it for the simple fact that it looks good to potential adoption.
Well, your opinion matters a lot.
Thank you. So, now, if we have a motion and we have a second, and if there is no more discussion, I will call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. discussion and possible action on a resolution for a speed limit reduction on Foreman Road, FM 105.
I'll make a motion that we pass a resolution, reducing the speed limit on, Foreman Road, FM 105.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
Does that need to include the speed limit, the change in speed limit, the motion, or?
No.
So you did one 2 years ago, but
Right.
they didn't agree with that 45, so it
Mm-hmm.
was 55. That's what they agreed to, so they needed a new resolution from you to 55.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, they'll read. They won't get sued.
That's 2 years later.
I'm gonna skip through most of these whereases and get to the suggestion. It says, now therefore be it resolved that the city council of the city of West Orange, Texas, does hereby formally request that the Texas Department of Transportation lower the speed limit from 65 miles per hour to 55 miles per hour from Sepulveda Road northbound to Western Avenue within the city limits of the city of West Orange, Texas. So that's what we're trying to get done. We have a motion and a second, and all we need is a vote, if there's no more discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, item number 9, discussion of possible action on a resolution authorizing signatures for contractual documents and documents requesting funds pertaining to the GLO CDBG grant contract number 23-16-086-F057.
I'll make a motion that we pass a resolution authorizing signatures for contractual documents and documents requesting funds pertaining to the quote CDBG grant contract number 23160-086-F057.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? This allows, I'll go ahead and skip the whereas, they're on here again, and go to, now therefore be resolved by the city council of the city of West Orange, Texas, as follows. The mayor and public works director will be authorized to execute contractual documents between the Texas General Land Office and the city for the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. Public Works Director and the City Secretary will be authorized to execute the state of Texas purchase voucher and request for payment form documents required for requesting funds approved in the Community Development Block Grant Disaster Recovery Program. It's just working through the grants that we're trying to get and get the authorization for the requirements of the GLO to, because we have to do this in order for them to give us the money to do it. If you don't follow what GLO wants, then you don't do it. Stop. Okay. So we're gonna, I have a motion. Do I have a motion? Somebody make a motion?
Yes, I made a motion,
All right. Get lost again. So, we have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What is it for? I know what a grant is, but what is it for?
John, this grant.
So this is, our RCP grant that we applied for, and it allows for us to, bring in a consultant to look at a master plan for the city, which it involves lots of different aspects of the city, from, our code enforcement to building inspector to, structural improvement plan, safety, everything. And this is a $0 match. We're not out anything.
So, what's driving this is, the city right now doesn't really have a 5-year or a 10-year plan. What do we want the city to look like in the future? How do we want to progress through making West Orange a better place to live? And so that's what we're hoping that this grant will allow us to do. So that's what we're looking for.
Like, don't discuss like the basic schools and things like that, or?
Yeah, probably. That's probably what comes up. give us any money to
Right,
act
no,
on
but it'll
anything.
give us like, it'll give like ideas or something how to handle it.
It may give an idea of who to contact or somebody that might be interested in buying properties or something like that. I'm not sure exactly. But it's very detailed what it will allow us to do. Okay, any other discussion? All right, I'll for a vote. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries.
Mayor,
Yes.
before we go further, back on item 4, that was, the discussion of possible action allowing the public works director to vacate the alleyways. I believe there was an error made. Alderman Odom made a motion denying that we do that, and then everyone voted for it, like we were approving it, or did we
So
vote?
there was no second to his motion, and so it just died.
No, you seconded the motion. You seconded his motion.
No.
Yes, you did.
And it was to deny, and we all voted yes, we want to deny.
Oh, okay. All right, I'm sorry.
I didn't vote for it. So I didn't vote, you just, the 3 of you voted yes, and then you just said, okay, it passes, so I didn't vote, you didn't ask for no, right?
So,
I want it on record that I am in favor of allowing
the alleyways to be.
the alleyways to be vacated for that purpose, yes.
Give us somebody to possibly build a house on top of a water and sewer main.
Right, if we, I want them vacated, I don't want them,
Right.
I want them vacated, and you voted, you made a motion to deny that they be vacated.
So vacating would be the city giving up all rights to those alleyways.
And they can build anything they want.
I misunderstood. Okay, all right. I digress.
So is it a no or a yes?
Unless yes.
And they could explain.
Hey, I'm glad we cleared this up. We gotta get this right.
Well, I just wanna make sure that we're not,
Well, that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Right.
ask questions. Make sure everything's done.
thinking about that.
With it.
Right here.
All right, item number 10. Discussion of possible action on accepting into record the quarterly investment report for April through June 2025.
I move we accept into record the quarterly investment report for April through June 2025.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? You may have to look over it if you need. Good. All right. So all in favor of accepting the quarterly investment report, say aye. All opposed, no. Motion carries. E11, item number 11. Discussion of possible action on acknowledging receipt of the statement of 2025 no new revenue and voter approval tax rate with corresponding worksheets.
I move that we, approve acknowledging the receipt of the statement of 2025 no new revenue and voter approval tax rates with corresponding worksheets.
I'll second the motion.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
All we're doing is acknowledging receipt, we're voting on acknowledging receipt, not accepting the rate.
Voting on the rate. To that.
I understand. I'll be clear.
We will be voting on rate before.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so is there any discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. Item number, long agenda we've had today. Item number 12. Discussion of possible action on authorizing a proposal on an ad valorem tax rate by record vote, and consider setting the date for a public hearing and the adoption of such proposal on a future meeting agenda. There is a recommended motion to proceed, for item number 12. Would anybody like to make that motion?
Are we voting to approve that rate or just to proceed with the workshop? No greater than that rate. No greater than the, 0.3795. Okay. I'll make a motion. So moved.
Yeah, read this.
All right.
Just read it and read it.
I move that we, by record vote, place a proposed tax rate of no greater than 0.3795 for $100 valuation on the Monday, September 8th, 2025 regular meeting agenda at 5 p.m. at City Hall, and set a public hearing on Thursday, September 4th, 2025 at 5:15 p.m. at City Hall to receive comments on such proposal.
Second. We have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, no. Motion carries. All right, that concludes our agenda. The announcements that we have to make, there is going to be a public hearing, as you just heard, on the proposed budget Thursday, September the 4th at 5 p.m. A public hearing on proposed tax rate Thursday, September the 4th, 2025 at 5:15 p.m. And our next council meeting will be Monday, September the 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m. So, that concludes our agenda. I'm going to adjourn the meeting. All right, I'm going to call our budget workshop in order, and it is 6:06. So, our regular agenda is a workshop on a proposed 2026 fiscal year budget. Y'all all should have that budget in front of you.
Do you have a copy?
7th or 8th. I think I'll put some in your file. I believe. Where's it? I think I did.
all have the budget before you. You can see that we're still at a net potential shortfall of $698,309, which is not as bad as it was. It was $1.8 million before we started cutting and slashing and stuff.
Where do you see 698, because that's not the numbers I have.
Oh, I'm sorry. Friday, I cut some more out of the budget, and we didn't have time to get y'all the cover sheet. So it's, what is yours say now?
795,440.
Okay.
The
And I'll,
potential shortfall is 830,815. Net potential shortfall is 795,440.
okay. So what I've done is I've gone into the, salary sheet that I get, where there are some overtime allowances in there built into that. Police department was 10%, public works was 7%, Teresa's was 3% overtime built into it. So I cut the police and the public works down to 3%, and, Teresa's down to 1%. So that's was a saving of $70-something thousand. I wish I could tell we cut 10 others.
Well, it wasn't just the wages, you had to also, that affected, Medicare, retirement, budget, it didn't affect on everything.
That's just, built in case we have, a disaster. Hopefully we don't have a disaster, but if we do, we have justification for covering that with overtime. So, we'll spend more, but if we don't have a disaster, we don't have to worry about having that built into a budget that is already, way over what we want it to be. So we can go through here line by line item. In revenue, one other thing I'd like to bring up before we get started is that read these numbers. Last year total revenues were $4,314,394, and our budget says $3,817,590. We had a $496,804 overage that helped us cover that in all of our expenses. The overage was $126,345 worth of city sales tax increase over what we budgeted. There was a $44,000 sewer plant license for permit. Yeah, sorry. And there was road maintenance tax was higher. Sales tax, however, road maintenance tax will be higher than what we forecast. And energy franchise fees were $20,000 over what we forecast.
Which line item is that? Which line item is that?
That's not on it. I'm just trying to explain why we had what we had last year. That's not, that doesn't, other than the total numbers, it doesn't show up in the line item. So that's, again, we had $215,000 more in our tech schools received than what we allotted for in our budget. So that's where we went. That's why we had almost $500,000 more revenue than what we planned for. And it's a good thing because we actually spent $4,194,362 when our total revenues were supposed to be $3,817,000. And our budget expenditures were forecast to be $5,010,000. So we were quite a bit over on our potential shortfall. This year we set it back to $698,000, which each year we do this, and each year we always come out in the black. I haven't really figured out how we do that, but it's worked. It's been working. It was working when Roy was here for 25 years. And
I kind of figured today, I went through the current budget we're in right now, and I went through all the departments, and I figured where we would be over and under. And my guesstimate is we will have $714,000 just by overtime, if we didn't have a disaster, things of that nature that weren't spent.
But that's actually budget, not dollars, correct?
Correct, that's budget.
yeah. So, if you look at your second page in your packet, where it says revenue,
Have any of these numbers changed since you modified?
in each department, yes, those numbers will change because of salary.
But on the revenue page, did any of those numbers change?
Of each department.
I have someone.
That's revenue?
Yes.
Oh, okay, and the revenue, we just found out that, we won't collect any money from liquor licenses anymore.
Okay.
State took that away from us. So, and that's not very much, it's about $800. That's what it said, $800. $875 a year. Does anybody have any question on the revenue page?
I did have a question. Are our permit fees, for the city, are they in line with what other cities in the area and that are our size and are we charging for permits what other cities comparable to us charge? I just want to make sure we're not under.
No.
Charge. Okay.
Good question. So, on the revenue, second page, if you look down at the bottom, you'll see some numbers in green, some numbers in blue. The green numbers were what we had spent as of 8/5, last, Monday the 11th.
The fifth.
Yeah. Tuesday or Wednesday, when we were working on all this. And I wanted that in there so you can see where we're at this year. And we have really pretty much stopped a lot of the spending. It's not mandatory for the rest of the year, hopefully. And you can see, again, the number, the year ending 2024 for revenue was $4,314,000. Any questions on revenue?
What are the multi-use fees?
The state has a list, on it, and they break everything down.
Is that something that we get to keep or is that something we have to get up?
There's a portion I think we get to keep, but it's not right.
You keep a processing fee, but each court cost is divided into that much. And when Teresa sends a $10,000 check, it's broken down by the report, and they put it in the different categories of where it goes in the state.
You can also see the, total revenue number for the 2024-2025 budget and for the 25-26 budget. And again, that's our best estimate. Everybody ready to move on to general administration? One of the things that I'd like to make sure everybody remembers when somebody, gets their tax bill and it's higher than it was last year, it's not us doing that, that's the Lawrence County Appraisal District appraising every property higher. As you can see on the general administration, we've, our 25-26 proposed budget is $205,903 versus, $221,082 last year. I'm sorry, that's wrong numbers. The numbers, you can see the numbers, they're there, department numbers on the second page of general administration. Payroll will make that number a little bit different, it won't be a lot. Any questions on general administration? So for general administration, the budget you have says $509,182 department total for, those budgets for, 2025-2026. Where the one I'm reading at, because of the cuts that we made, is $505,976.
So where did it, was the cut on this,
That's all the overtime reduction.
The payroll section.
Payroll
Personnel
section.
section.
Where
On the bottom page, okay.
are these new, the new budget, have you made it over for us?
Yes.
Either in print or
I'll
email to us?
I didn't have time.
That's fine.
I had it in your boxes tomorrow, but also right before we came in here, I didn't get it on the website. So we're gonna share it.
So as a, example, the budget y'all have in front of you is, make sure I've got the right one, I've got two of them, so. 166,560 versus what it actually came out to is overtime budget, 163,095, and that's in the salaries. Part of it. And you can see that in the general administration, we're at $455,871 as of 8/5/2025. You can see where year-end 2024, we were at $578,048. That was over budget due to $85,000 unbudgeted grant match expense, and that was for the generator. It wasn't in the budget, they had the match, grant match.
And then why is there nothing budgeted for economic development this year?
It's gonna take,
It's gonna come out of the EDC budget.
yeah, out of the EDC account.
We have money in the EDC account now, so we can pay for that. When we first started it, we didn't have it. We didn't have any funds.
Never did.
All right, any questions, any other questions, general administration? Are ready to move to building officials?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Are there any changes on here?
Just the salary board, I think, would be the only place that maybe, I don't see a change there.
There's only a $2 change.
$2 change.
On there, because I don't think he has any overtime in his budget.
Right, and what is, item 511-62390 abatement, what is that?
Demolition.
Demolition.
Yeah, last year we had $75,000, that's just tearing down houses,
Mowing
yards
yards.
to go along with it. Whether it's asbestos abatement, whatever.
Evidently didn't like that.
Didn't like it.
Under contractual services, I know that we talked about in the past the thing for people to mow for code enforcement, but yet there's not any money in that money.
There's no plus, no, no, we just can't. Okay, expensive.
Yeah, I cut as much out as we could.
No, are we not doing it anymore because we have to have money in there to pay these people?
No, we don't have contracts with anyone.
Sharp people.
Well, no, we had contracted out before, but it was for a term that has expired, and I'm not renewing it for next year.
Oh,
Okay, I thought that was gonna be an ongoing thing.
Well, I mean, I wish that it could, but yeah, we can't.
Okay. We just blank, and I knew that we were doing, I didn't know that we could stop doing it.
On the building official, you can see that the budget for this coming year is $92,905. And it had $75,262 as of 8/5. And he spent $103,000 last year. I say he, just say he. Everybody okay with the building official? Bruce went out to roll with himself.
Oh,
Should wait till he gets back in. already moved to fire department.
Yes.
Anyone have any questions on the fire department?
Mine is a joint question, actually for the fire department and the police department. I noticed that this year there's nothing in the budget for grant match funds, or in the police department's case, grant support, which I'm assuming is very similar to grant match, same thing. So in the event that a grant opportunity becomes available to either one of them, they would come to the council and ask for an amendment. Okay, I just want to clarify that.
Yeah.
I got a question too.
Okay.
You might have an answer to this one. Now, Steve Orange radio fees, you know, we got hit hard last year, or this year.
Because we didn't get a port security grant on part of it.
Okay, so, cause I know last year was like $9,700 and.
That was for 2 years, Cindy, they didn't bill us the year before.
Right, okay, so this is, we have a good number.
Yes.
Okay, cause now, like, we talked about this before.
If we get a grant to support part of it. We paid for 2 years last year, or this year.
Yeah.
But, we apply every year for a port security grant. But we get one, it pays part of the, we're busy with the tower maintenance and our radio system maintenance, not your actual radio.
Right, I understood that. I knew last year they hit me and her like, we didn't have what we got charged when we got loose. And then we kind of find out they sent us the bill. And then, so I kind of based that number on what I did last year, what we got hit with. So that's where I was at with that.
Yeah, we have the same problem.
And then, you cut me $10,000 on my equipment and tools.
What number is that?
That's gonna be, 6114.
14, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I know you said I could come back, but gives me a little bit of leeway. I mean, I was expecting if you cut me at least 15. But, you know, that's the only thing that really bothered me was that one line item.
Do any of those items have a shelf life expiration date that, you know, a limited amount of time that you can keep them conservative?
Not really, like bunker gear and air packs, things that kind of thing, that's the same. This is just like, if I need to replace a fan or replace nozzles or whatever, I mean, nozzles now are $1,100 a nozzle, or, you know.
Pipe hole to
Axle, whatever,
all the hand tool stuff.
These hand tools are like fans.
I got that 35,000 in mine.
Sorry? Yeah.
I got that 35,000.
Yeah, I've seen some years, yeah, but like, yeah, some of the stuff is, it really, and Mike knows it's dramatic detriment or price increases is stupid. But, you know, we're a minuscule part. That's just where I was at, like, so I just, you know, I was expecting 5 off of that.
I know we wanted to try to get a chainsaw last year, and we didn't.
Yeah.
Still need to try to get 2 of them actually. Those come out there too.
Yeah. I mean, you ain't talking $200 for $500-600 a saw, but still, I'm trying to work around, get it different, but I ain't got it to that point yet. Or somebody give me one or give me money for one. So, I mean.
Well, one of the reasons why we've got a $600,000 potential shortfall is because everybody likes to make sure they got enough in the budget to get everything they want, you know, spend the $10,000, and what I told everybody else is it's something we've gotta have. I'll bring it to the council can say yes or no, and we'll go from there, whatever it is. All right?
And I mean, you know, we had a discussion, and I'm good with that, I wasn't expecting to fight that big of a truck.
Well, you spent,
You know, I
spent
didn't,
$164,000 last year altogether at the end of the year. And so we're sitting at 159 now.
right, but I would have spent a little probably more this year if you hadn't cut me off, 'cause I had stuff I was ordering, and you thought, oh, by the way, did you get my email? No, I did not. You know, so I'd already had stuff on order. You know, I try to spread my purchase out through the year to help the city out where I don't get y'all one whack. You know, I understand how budgets work and understand, you know, I don't want to come out and order everything in September when you just got a budget, you don't get no money until January, February. So, I spread my purchases out. You know, it's already 14,000 less than I had last year, as far as budget, what I turned in. Wouldn't be doing my job for me already.
Y'all are doing a good job, Sammy. I know.
Absolutely.
It's
Tough on everybody.
Yeah.
It's involved, trying to do as much as we can out of everything.
It's kind of one of those reset years where we kind of have to reset what we do.
We have no new money coming in, so what we get is what we get, and we gotta do what we can with it, you know?
Even with the, appraisal district, we got to cut $50,000 out of the appraisal district for, our industrial tax. So, you know, they're not helping us in the end, you know, things like even the state the liquor license fee. That's gone, you know, it's not much, but it's just things
Why
like
they
that.
pull the industrial contract fees money or whatever? Like, how can they, I mean, why have people on the
They
board?
devalue the property.
Oh,
So they devalue the property, taxes drop off.
they devalue mine.
Mine either.
No, I live in the city of Orange.
You didn't have a string of attorneys fighting for you for it too.
All right, let's move on. Is any other questions? Any other questions on the fire department? All right, next is sanitation department. Garbage.
Almost had to correct that gentleman last meeting, calling us city of Orange. He finally got it right. He was Sonny's right hand man. He kept saying Orange. He finally got it right.
Did we lose, someone in the sanitation department?
No. We had a position that we had budgeted for in the past. That was in case we were able ever to fill that position. But the mayor decided that we did not need that position, and we would cut it out.
Oh, John's fault. He wouldn't hire somebody, so I said, buddy, you just got the job.
For a CDL.
All right. You see that there's a couple $1,000 difference between, well, y'all can't see that, I'll tell you, the salary part is a couple $1,000 difference.
I couldn't believe what Michael Moses made. When I saw the sound. I don't know how you survive.
Anything else? Let's move on. Get late, and we might miss rain if we get through. Or we might not get caught in rain, I mean, if we won't with it, we won't get caught in it. All right, so the humane department.
So, I did make, a note here, so, under 6233, the last item, animal disposal and pound inspection. Are we no longer gonna do animal disposal, or what's we gonna do about that?
so my intention is to pay for that out of, my miscellaneous items that I have in street.
Okay.
So I work it by department, trying to hit the department, and at the time I have not spent any money in that, and,
When you pick them up off the road,
well, yeah.
street cleanup,
Oh, and the gun,
trying to justify.
oh, and the gun.
I picked my granddad up off the road the other day and took care of that.
Oh, no.
Anything? Anything? All right, police department.
Chief, including you and Jeff, how many officers, how many law officers?
Are they all full-time now?
Question on the police department.
So this, like, for under equipment, are you, we're going equipment, right? I mean, it's huge, cutter, we're just gonna hope for the best, coming to council meeting, so.
Moving on. You were able to cut the dispatch from 21 to 15, is that a?
Contract negotiation.
So the year end, last year, they spent $2,024,223. And as of 8/5, they're already at $2,032,000. Part of that.
So these, chief, do any of these salaries include overtime?
It included in there is 3% overtime.
Okay, what about for 24, 25?
24, 25 is 10%. Keep in mind also that salaries is, if they work holidays.
Right, I
things,
understand.
holidays,
Sure.
certain things like that.
Right, I just wanna make sure that.
Yeah.
I have a minor question. It's very, very minor. I'm looking at the auto cleaning. You dropped your budget 75%. So who cleans the car?
they do it for free. So there is a time every once in a while, like if we have a accidental discharge in the backseat, it has to go get much medical.
I thought Jesse did that.
He does, but he calls them sick those days.
Oh.
He's smarter than the average bear.
And again, in the police department, you notice we've, reduced all capital expenditures there. That's amazing. So, all right. Any other questions? Let's look at this. Well, maybe, you know, it's full base, obviously, we're insurance is going up every year. So ready to move to municipal court?
Yes, sir.
Questions about that?
Yeah, we have salaries on the first line, and then down under contractual services, we have appointed magistrate fees. What is the difference in that? The judge.
It's a contract law.
Okay, and then it's public employee. Okay.
Teresa, Dana.
Okay. Right, okay. And then under, for jury fees, the defendant actually pays the jury fees themselves, is that correct? In the event that a jury is requested? That long shot.
There's actually a fee in there for the jury fee, because we have to pay the jurors that come here.
Right, yeah.
And, the subpoenaing and all that.
Oh, okay.
That one.
But the,
It's,
but the defendant does pay for the jury, correct?
they do pay court costs.
Right.
But if they're found not guilty,
Mm-hmm.
they do not.
Okay.
Ready to move on?
Yes, sir.
Police department. So where they have a $645,000 estimate on expenditure. They were, as of 8/5, they were $199,522. So we expect that maybe the street department will be well, but take care of some of that potential shortfall.
John, how many employees are street department slash?
I'm sorry, I didn't.
How many employees are street department?
2.
I was hoping it wasn't 3. Looking at the salaries.
And under capital outlay, what equipment or property do you expect to purchase this year? Is that, like a truck, is that right? I know you needed something. Well, I know what the used truck is.
Yes, so, like I explained to the mayor, that's money that we use for auctions. When something comes up, whether it's a laboratory compactor, any type of road, maintenance equipment that comes up, that's what we use that money for.
I think we talked about that before. Thank you.
Any other questions? Now, we're going to go to parks and facilities. I think, you know, you asked a question about how many people in the street department. John does a good job of making sure they're flexible enough to work wherever they're needed. Sometimes it might be 3 people to do the street department stuff. Any questions on parks and facilities? Move the land shop.
Yes, sir.
votes on our budget in the September council meeting.
The budget will be voted on at the end of the budget hearing on the floor. The tax rate will be on the 8th.
Well, I thought we would approve the budget in the council meeting on.
In the local government code, it's supposed to do it at the conclusion of the hearing.
Just get to approve 4 days earlier, you know. Feel free to take them home, see them real good, look at them real good. Find something that you have a question on, make sure to ask. That's true. Yeah. Just ask for it, yeah.
I'll help you update on when you talk after lunch. Thank you, dear.
Like I say, there's not gonna be a lot of difference in the total numbers, but $2,000.
I got a mulligan.
Sir,
I got a mulligan.
you got a mulligan?
Mulligan. On there, my equipment repair, my engine repair stuff,
Yeah.
I used company 4, which,
Oh, well,
you know,
that's
just on that one truck, I'm already almost 10 grand deep in this year in repairs. That's gonna be, 6103. And I haven't had any service or pump test or anything done this year. So I'm already 9,000, almost 10,000.
equipment, engine repair?
Yeah. And most of that was spent on that one truck. Or all of it's been spent on one truck so far.
Equipment and engine repair, mine, but you said 18 and 18.
Yeah, it's 18,000, and I had, this year's budget was, I had 18 last year, but I went up to 22, so you got me down, so I turned in for 22, just to cover CYA myself on, so I would stay under budget. Cause you don't never know, I mean, I know I'm $9,600 or so in that one truck this year already, and I haven't had any maintenance done to either one of them yet. So, just a FYI.
Alright. So you see why yourself.
Yep. FYI, CYA.